$35 million product software investment. So, that's pretty much where you're looking at, more of 300, 400, 4,000, $5,000 tax references that you're going through at the time. And it's being able to know more about what you give as far as understanding more of 50 tax references, and understanding what they conclude of after having so many sets of that stuff. So that's pretty much as you got to know how to handle it, and know how to demand rights for your decency. So it just depends on whatever your history is, and however you want to promote more for your history, your history density. So it's pretty much as I make more of my updated specifications of 2018. We were able to make some urban classifications of the products that we use and the products that we make things with. So it's pretty much just a total of three, and we're figuring out plans and propositions for these types of details, so you can know more about what these companies represent, and what they are as a network connection, and as a software analyzer. So it's just pretty much messing with your interactions, and dealing with different interventions of websites is pretty much where you're looking at majority of the time. So it's pretty much looking at those types of details, and being able to add more sufficiency to them as you add groups of 57, 77, 97, 15. You're adding groups like that. So that's pretty much where you're using PMC2 squared to transition or translate that type of detail, and use more of a W4 promotion, or promotive detail at the time. So it's just working with 37%, 97%, 67% of progressive detail. Dealing with more of 1967 to 2025 at the time. So just dealing with more over time, dealing with the way that Cajun food was made, or the way that seafood was made, or the way that bakery food was made at the time. So it's pretty much as I base my biographies off this good stuff. That's pretty much what you're learning in Colorado, Arizona. You're learning those things based off of Arlington, or Amarillo, Lubbock, Abilene. You're looking at those states versus the metropolitan states of the state. So just being able to know more about Austin, Dallas, Houston, El Paso, Victoria, Gonzales. Knowing about the urban day centric look of world cultures at the time. So just being able to know more about Del Rio, or Del Rio down there in Texas, South Texas. So just being able to know more about Smithville, or in that area of Smithville, or in the area of New Braunfels. You be in the area of New Braunfels if you're looking at the geographic look of Texas at the time. So as being in New Braunfels to Smithville, you see majority of that good calling, and being able to look at different zones of nature is pretty much where you're looking at those particular points of interest. So it's pretty much looking at EcoLeaf multi-platforms, and what conspires EcoLeaf platforms is the direct description that you get when you getting $9, $7, $37, and knowing what to do with it, and how to place it, and how to grade it, and how to perform a good spectrum of decency as you get more of what you like and more of your interests. As you spend it on 1967 to 2027, so it's being able to get more of what you like. So being able to know more about YouTube or T-Mobile or Comcast or Vivo or Vine. That's pretty much where you're looking at a good scantron of direct description where you're using Comcast, YouTube, and T-Mobile at the same time, and using it as a grade and guidance of being able to know more about the satellites or the TV, or as far as it being the cable. You learn about the satellites, the cable, the gas programs, and all that good stuff. So it's being able to know more about $37 million of prophecy. Knowing which type of unit that you want. You can have it upgraded to any type of unit after that. And you working with 97 $32. It's pretty much working with those details. So it's pretty much working with $9,732. So everything's much different now that you're more of 1730 and not 1350, and it's pretty much where you getting that whole detail assumed at. So it's pretty much working with network collaborations stores, and it's pretty much what's in those stores. I mean, what's in those areas of hotspot connection and Spotify networks and YouTube. So these are the components that deal with those types of organizations and deals, and those types of conspiracies. So this is just dealing with a whole nother subscription of a whole nother sort, and that's pretty much what EcoLeaf multi-platforms is into doing at the time. So it's pretty much working with direct description as far as getting more websites for that type of purchase plan. Purchasing whatever you want of your type of the font. So it's pretty much using more for your eco herb of EcoLeaf, and it's pretty much where you're using that for. So it's pretty much using that for EcoLeaf programs and websites. And it's pretty much where you're using MSN, Outlook, Google Docs, YouTube, T-Mobile, Comcast, Vivo, Vine, Sam's, Target, Sears. You're using stuff like that. So it's pretty much where you're using the whole detail of $35 million investments, and being a software update is pretty much where you're getting more towards knowing more towards your 37, your 2037, or your 2067 market ratings at the time, or your 2037 to your 2037 to 2047, and it's pretty much just being able to be in the same 10 years as you transition to the next point. So it's being able to know more about having the direct deposit to transition to those type of states, even though you don't have a car, or you have bad intuition at the time. It's pretty much where you need more transition from EcoHerb 747 multi-members as you make more for 59.45, and be able to account more for $57.49 of purple, green, and orange statistics that you make from 1957 to 2018. So it's being able to know more of $50,000 out of $5,000, and knowing more of $22 million being produced at the hour instead of $5 million. So that's pretty much looking at the distance between 22 million and 5 million being produced after 2012 to 2022. So that is a while after it's made. So that's a heavy $22 million reference being benefited at the time. So it's pretty much where you're making more of that. That's more of where you're making that $9,717, and you're making it every 3 months after that. So it's pretty much dealing with you know the evenings and the holidays of summer. So it's being able to know more about those statistics, and what makes it more of a 59,000 or 5,965 dime route. So it's being able to know more about that, and knowing the difference between 956 dimes and 550 50s is pretty much where you want to get the consolidation of that good stuff coming from. So that's at least working with at least three vehicles, two homes. What else could you imagine at that time? Is being able to know more about what you eat. You at least make at least 337, 77 different meals. So it's pretty much laid back after that in my demographics or my dimensions. So that's just being able to look more into 1998 to 2035 and understanding more of a purple, orange, and green dimension of 5.1 versus 51.1, and being able to understand the difference between 59.45 and 29.12, and understanding the difference between that being a 50 and a 20, and understanding the right category of placement at the time is pretty much what we want to be able to do at the time. So it's pretty much using that and understanding that. Other than that, we are working with tax deficits and bill statements. Bill statements is tax references paid from consumers at a bigger rate than a tax references would. Tax references are about $90. Bill statements are about $390. And it's pretty much where you're using those details in the tax deficits, or what you see when you see the wrongdoing or incorrect motions or incorrect content. So it's being able to make tax deficits for it, and create a lifetime expectancy for it. So other than that, it's just working with the tax services that it provides and using more of $98,808 to promote more for the higher definition of meaning. And that's just going to Adobe, Google Docs, and MSN, MSN and Outlook at the time. So those are just dealing with those details, and that's all part of code 55737 on component directory, which has Austin Code General Allies in it, and it has MoneyGram Plus in it, and it has Penske coordinates in it. So it's being able to know more about a certain situation and what a situation does in these types of moments that create more applications and adaptability toward social lifestyle at the time. So it's being able to know more about the public allowance or the public audience, and being in public safety environments at the time. So it's pretty much dealing with that detail, and being able to know more about how much catfish industry makes its individual self. Individually, that's like the tax deficits are worth 57.77. Bill statements are worth 919, and tax references are worth 50 a week. So just being able to know more about $50,000 being transitioned and composited for 2 weeks, and being able to be more composited